Well, good morning. Welcome to Living the Amazing Life podcast. I'm yours truly, Coach Tim Harrell, your motivational leadership expert, as well as your business accelerator. I'm so excited about today because we are on episode 41. My God, We're moving right along, and I'm so happy to have my good friend, my executive pastor, my spiritual son, Pastor Franco Charles. Y'all give it up for Pastor Franco Charles.
It's great to be back.
My God, man, it's so good to have you.
Thank you.
On the podcast. Now, you've been on this will be your fourth time.
This will be my fourth time.
Yeah, fourth time on the podcast. Yeah. And really excited about you being
such an honor.
A part of the podcast. It's always an honor and a privilege for me to engage with you in conversation about any topic. I tell you, we can talk about any topic. Anything. And we can really bring out a subject to the point that it not only adds value to us, but it adds value to our listeners, our viewers. Yes. So today I want to focus on just a conversation around this topic called the responsibility of power.
Wow. Okay.
Now we are, I believe we are a week from the election.
Yeah.
And, we got a lot of, things going on in the country, around the world concerning who won the election. And and we're not going to get into that today. But we do understand that this person who won the election has a responsibility.
Major responsibility.
For the power they possess. Yes. And so we want to talk about that. About that. I want to start off with a quote. By my good friend, Dr. John C. Maxwell.
Okay.
John says, the measure of a man is how he handles power.
Wow.
The measure of a man is how he handles power. Now, Franco, you've been in leadership for a long time. You've been consulting with churches for a long time, coming along beside senior leadership and working with them and equipping and teaching their core executive teams. And so you've done a lot. Now, what has been your experience working with senior leadership, executive leadership around this subject, the responsibility of power?
Well, you're familiar with Marvel, right? You love watching
Marvel? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What's your favorite Marvel?
My favorite Marvel character, oh my God, it would be the Incredible Hulk.
I know it's kind of kiddie, but
Incredible
Hulk. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's Spider-Man.
Okay,
And you've probably heard this, and probably those that are watching said that with great responsibility or great power comes great responsibility.
Yes, absolutely.
So as, just listen to the question and seeing how power is something that is so vital.
Yeah.
It's the responsibility. And it's individuals that don't have that mindset to have that responsibility. That's when you start to see power become uncontrolled, manipulated power.
And here's the word for it. Abusive power.
And when I watched Spider-Man, and I believe it was his uncle or his granddad, or I don't know which one, that told him, say, Peter Parker, listen, you have great power, but you have to know that this comes with great responsibility. And it changed my life, even though it was something that was not just originally quoted from Spider-Man, but watching that, it really, really began to teach me to say, hey, as I'm working with, as you mentioned, executive leaders, I had to really take a look at that to say, I'm giving what I like to share a little later in this, but I don't want to go into it too quick.
Okay.
Shared power. Yeah. So that's what I experienced working with executive leaders, even with yourself.
Right.
Being here as an executive pastor, I'm in what is called shared
That's
power.
Good. That's really good.
I got power, but it's being shared.
Yeah. And that's good because when we talk about, shared power, responsibility of power, that has to be managed.
It has to be managed.
So if it's not managed,
that's right.
It becomes abusive power.
It becomes abusive power. And I believe in our generation, even right now, even with me in the capacity that I'm in, I had to grow into that.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you've given an influence, you've given responsibility, but keep in mind that this is something that has to be managed. And if it's not managed and I'm abusing it, I could go around just getting on everybody's nerve and just, and I think that's when it becomes a little disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we see that in churches. We see that in our government. We've seen, especially, and we're fresh out of an election.
Fresh.
So we have our governmental leaders who have abused their power.
Yeah.
Have abused their power. And and we seen the results of that. And you know, when power is abused, it's the people who follow the leader that are subject to that abusive power.
And people begin to really, you know, even Scripture said it. Scripture said, "Woe when somebody who abused power, is in power." People suffer. And that's what I like to even add even right now, that power has a purpose. Power has a purpose. And when we don't understand the purpose, it just messes up everything.
Yes. And that is so good because you know, and when you have power to have purpose, I like that. When you have power to have purpose, then that power not only have a purpose, but it has a mission.
It has a mission. And that mission is empower people, make people better. Of course, election, government,
right,
and also in the church and business, company. You're there to make people better. I believe that when people don't understand that, listen, I've been given power to make lives better.
Right.
I think
not make my life better.
Others better.
Make others better.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem even in our country today. That with the different you know, political parties and different things like that. Yeah. We see that. Yes, I'm empowered to make your life better. Yeah. But once the person gets in position possesses the power, we never really get that benefit of their power because really it doesn't benefit us, it benefits them.
Well, you're actually quoting Lord Action. Lord Action once said, it's between 1834 to 1902. He is also he was more like a politician. Right. And here's what he said. He said, corrupt power or intended power becomes corrupt. But corrupt power absolutely gets corrupt. Wow. Which means a person can have power, but if they don't know the meaning, they don't have the responsibility, the management, everything suffers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I just want to let the viewing audience know, you guys got to share this because this is so important to understand. Now, if you're a leader, if you're in a position of power, then you have to make sure that you properly manage the power that you have. Because if you look at this power that is for me to benefit, for me to get what I want and what I desire, then it's going to turn into abusive power. And so you want to be very careful with that. Here's something. Responsibility is being responsible or answerable for an act performed or its consequences, especially morally, legally, or politically. Wow. You see, and another word for power is the word authority. Authority. So when a person has power, they have authority. Yeah. And so we have a new president. President Trump is a new president now, or president-elect. President. Right. And so he is given a level of power.
That's a lot of power.
He is given a level of power. So watch this, though. The president is considered the most powerful man on the face of the earth. Wow. But the question is, does he have actual power or an image of power?
Woo, that's heavy.
Okay. Yeah. Where does his power come from? Yeah. Who is the source of his power? His power comes from responsibility. Without the responsibility, you have no power.
You have no power. And the sad thing about it is that most people try to have power with no character.
Ooh, yeah.
I honestly believe that character is the fuel to power.
Yeah.
It just somebody. It's like you notice somebody who can have a big title, or somebody can have this big name, and here comes this small little person with so much influence. Right. That's power.
Yeah. And sometimes we think that power comes from having a title. Because you got a title before your name, or you got some acronyms behind your name. Yeah. You figure you have power. But power I believe that power is being able to not only manage your life, but manage the lives of those who decided to follow you.
That's pure power.
Yeah, that's power, because now power, the power you possess turns into influence. Yeah. Now you have the ability to influence another person. That's right. So when I'm able to, like, I own a janitorial company. Yes. And to motivate people to do something they don't want to do. So I hired a person to clean restrooms.
Yes.
So they come in, they clean restrooms, and they got to clean toilets after someone who have used the toilet.
Yes.
You know, how can I get? And the question was, how can I get people to clean a toilet and feel good about it?
Right.
See, that's power and influence.
That's power and influence.
But
and then to do it in your absence.
Right. To do it in your absence, but to be able to strategically to get a person to do it and feel good about cleaning toilets.
But not only that, not only the general company that is so successful, you also hired me. Mm-hmm. Now you're also depending on me to influence and to use my power, shared power, to get the leaders to be able to function in their tasks. Because not only do you have the company, you also have the church. It's also successful. How do we get individuals to actually perform, like you say, to really be happy about it?
Right.
They respect the power because they respect the person.
They respect the person. And you have to earn that respect.
Respect is earned. It's never given.
And so we have a lot of leaders in office. We have a lot of leaders in position that demand respect.
Yes.
But have never earned respect.
And that's when it become abusive. Like you said, of course, the president-elect, with that power, now he has the responsibility, whether or not you realize it, of course, anyone in power, that you have to now live to the earning power of the people.
Yes.
Yeah.
And especially people who is in the opposite party, who don't respect you.
Yeah.
How would you maneuver through that, working to get, you have power, because of your position, you have power over them.
Yes.
But you don't have influence.
You don't have influence
with them.
It's going to be a major challenge. One of the words that kept coming to me as you were sharing about that is that you always share with us here, and even in our master class in leadership, is transformation. When you have true power, you will always have the track record of results.
Right.
And cause people to respect you.
Right.
But when you say you're in power and all you're doing is just pounding people, you're creating two things.
Right.
You're creating people to hate you and you're creating people to leave you.
Right.
But when you have that power and you influencing people and making their lives better, people stay with you.
And this is so good. I think this is important because of coming out of a post-election and not only just looking at our government, but looking at our churches, because we've seen the abuse of power in churches among our leaders. Yeah. We've seen abuse of power in businesses and things like that. And yes, we may be in power. Yes, we may control things. And yes, at the stroke of a pen, things happen. Yeah. That's great. But my goal is to go beyond the power that I have. Yeah. I want to really impact and influence a person. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I'm not coming here to impress you. If I'm coming here to impress you, then I'm adding value to me.
Exactly.
But if I'm impacting your life, then I'm adding value to you.
Absolutely.
Just because you have power does not mean you're adding value to people.
That's right.
That's
right.
And so as leaders, we have to learn how to walk in power and be responsible for the power that we have by adding the value to those who are following us, those who will commit themselves to us, those who say, hey, I got your back, I'm going to follow you, I'm going to support you. Then we have a responsibility as leaders.
Major responsibility.
And we don't, of course, we don't see that a lot in our political arena. Yeah. We don't really see that a lot where, you have leaders who will get up and say, hey, I'm going to do this for you. And after the election, there's a different story.
Because what happened, like, when you're seeking that power, I honestly believe this with all my heart. Yeah. You're pure.
Ooh, that's good.
The intentions are right.
Yeah.
Well, when I get this position, woo.
Right.
If you didn't have the right intention in the beginning and maintain it throughout, you will lose it. Yeah. And what happened, I like to call it compromise power. Like you said, misuse power. Right. What happened is that we started out so good in our hearts. When I become a pastor, when I become in this position, when I become a CEO.
Good intentions.
When I become a supervisor, manager, I'm going to take care of all my people. Until that power begins to get to your head.
Consistency is my favorite word. Is my favorite word. Consistency sets you up for the favor of God. Consistency. Consistency unlocks the favor of God. So I talk about that in the book, Consistency Without Compromise. Without compromise, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, every morning. I pray for you all this morning. I get up consistently. I go to the gym at 6:15, consistently. I don't have a lot of time for a social life other than my wife and I. But other than that, I'm on point with my calling, with my assignment. I cut away people out of my life. I change my inner circle. If you're not beneficial to where I'm going, you won't be a part of what I'm doing. And I know it can sound like it's cold, but if you know God has His hand on your life, and you know God is giving you a gift, God is giving you something to do, your focus has to be there. Your focus has to be there. And I learned that consistency. You know, I failed. I've learned from my failure, and I just keep on being consistent. No matter what it looks like, it may not look like, just like Daniel, he just consistently prayed. No matter what it looked like. It looked like he was gonna lose his life. He still prayed. It looks like it was over. He still prayed. He stayed consistent. And so I guarantee you, that's one thing, I'm not even prophesying. I know this for a fact, that if you stay consistent in what you're doing, it will unlock the favor of God on your life. Yeah.
And what helps, I remember when you first encountered me, you said, what is it that really allow you to manage that?
Right.
You got to stay. Most people talk about humility. I'm not a humble guy.
Right.
I'm a very confident guy.
All right. Right.
Humility is not that I humiliate myself when I'm serving.
Right.
But what really manage that power is serving.
Yeah.
That's the control.
Yeah.
And you know that every time you're serving is like.
So what you're saying, having power with the mindset of serving keeps you from that realm of abusive power.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And I like to call it the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And if you notice people who are not practicing serving, because I believe this servitude is the tutoring of power. Right. It tutors it, it disciplines it, it controls it, it manages it. And you notice every time you're giving, because you're always giving, I'm always giving, and people that we know that serve here and even in the company, they're serving. Right. But watch people who are not serving, they get puffed up more and more. And then all of a sudden, it's all polluted.
Yeah, well, that's good. That is good. And as you was talking, I'm just reminded of Christ when Christ gave power to His disciples.
Yep.
And go back to the shared power.
Yes.
He gave power. So if you're a leader operating in power, is almost mandated for you to share that power. It's not because when you share that power, you put yourself in a position of accountability.
Yes.
You know, you're not possessing all this power, because that could be very dangerous.
It can be very dangerous. But I have to your defense, of course, in the position that you're in, CEO, senior leader here as well. You got to know who to give that power to.
You got to know who to give that power to. Yeah. You definitely got to know who to give that power to. And I've learned that over the years as a business owner, as a senior leader in a church, I've learned that one of the things that I've learned, this is a valuable lesson. I don't know who I'm talking to, but this is a valuable lesson. Never lay hands on potential.
Oh.
Only lay hands on fruit.
Wow.
So if there's no fruit in a person's life, then it doesn't matter how much potential they have.
Oh.
It doesn't matter how much potential. If I can't see the fruit, if you're not walking in it already, because the fruit is I'm operating in this without a title, without anyone laying their hands on me, without anyone calling me that title. I'm already walking in it, and it doesn't matter whether I get a title or not. I'm going to function in what I know I've been called to do.
Wow,
that's fruit.
Yeah,
that's fruit. Yeah. So you're not sitting back waiting for someone to put the title on you.
No.
Before you begin to walk in it.
You
know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's you're just operating in potential.
I believe leaders over a period of time set people up. I believe you could actually set people up to fail.
Yeah.
Even scripture said it too. We can also go there, said that be very careful you don't even promote a novice, which means an inexperienced person, which potential, but no fruit. So that is powerful.
Yeah. And so we, as leaders, and, here at Living an Amazing Life podcast, we focus on leadership, business, and personal growth.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of leaders don't understand the responsibility of power that we have given, whether God has given it to us or another man has given it to us or whoever may have given us this power. We have a responsibility to manage the power,
to manage it,
to not only manage it but share it. Because anytime, when you came here, almost a year and a half ago, you came here, I had to, as the senior leader, release some of that power and share the power and authority with you. It's another word is delegated authority.
It's delegated authority.
So I had to share it.
And the thing about it, I feel that way.
Yeah.
I don't feel locked in.
Right.
I don't feel micromanaged.
Right.
And that says a lot about the person who's sharing the power.
Right.
That you're responsible with your power.
Yeah, you're responsible with their power. And for a person who know it all, you can't tell them anything. They have power, but you can't tell them anything.
Wow.
Your lies. And I think even our current president in his first term.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell him anything.
No, you couldn't.
You couldn't tell him anything.
Somewhere down the line, he got a little humble.
And I think that he's getting it now.
Yeah.
But you really couldn't tell him anything.
Yeah.
You have all of these people advising you.
Yep.
But you're not listening to them.
Having advisors, but not being able to be advised.
Right. That could be dangerous.
Very dangerous.
And that can turn into abusive power.
Yeah.
Especially with that type of power. So if you have power, then you need to have people around you that will hold you accountable to managing that power. And make sure that you don't get in a position where you now have ventured over into an area that will cause you to do something that you can't take back.
Because the people around you are actually assigned to you. They're sent to you.
Yeah.
So the more you hold it and not share, that's why I love it every Thursday.
Yeah.
You got an opportunity to share from that power. Hey, guys, this is what we're needing to do. What do you have?
Right.
And that's effective leadership. And we're transformed. The individuals that are receiving the power, we know how clear you want your vision, your expectation. And the crazy thing about it, that you always give this story with your coach, Dr. Chan. You said he walked into a room and he shared the story and the pastor was upset that the tables were not. That stuck with me because he didn't share his power responsibly in the responsible way.
So what you're saying, sharing, putting the expectations that what you want from those who follow you.
What you want from that's really practicing power and responsibility. Because sometimes some leaders really show up, but you could always tell when the leaders are responsible for the power.
Right.
They walked in and they think that there's a magic wand or something that just happened and fall in place. Like, how come y'all didn't get this done yet? You've never done that to me or anyone else around here, because you're responsible with that to say, you know what? I need to be able to transfer effectively out of respect, out of responsibility, my power. And when you walked in, I believe your life is becoming even a little more. We could do more though. And of course, we will do more in 2025. But you set it up to the point where the people want to serve because the power is held responsibly.
Yes. And I think that's one of the keys. And I think a lot of pastors, leaders are frustrated today.
Very frustrated.
You're frustrated today. You may need some coaching.
Yeah.
So you can jump on this free 60-minute free coaching session. Yeah. So you may want to jump on it because a lot of leaders I've talked to a lot of leaders who are frustrated because they're trying to carry this burden alone.
That's right.
Can you imagine Moses?
Oh my gosh.
Moses being frustrated after his father-in-law came and said, Moses, what are you doing?
Yep.
Jethro. You got to share this power.
You got to share this power.
And of course, like you said earlier, we can't share with just anybody.
No, you'll know. And the good thing about it is that your internal power of responsibility let you know who to give it to.
Right.
How that person handles it, that's up to them. They just reveal themselves that they are not responsible to the power that was just shared.
Right.
So Jethro was able to share it with Moses, and he got it.
Yeah. He got it, and he ended up picking leaders. God told him, say, pick several leaders.
Yes.
And I will take the spirit that is upon you, and I will put it on them. I will place it on them.
Shared power.
Right. And so, so this power that is given,
yes,
the person that you're placing upon has to receive it.
They have to receive it, and you'll know if they receive it.
And then they have to manage it.
And they have back to responsibility of power.
But there's been in my tenure, in my experience in as a senior leader, there's been power or shared power to a person that didn't manage it correctly.
And that just reveals their capacity.
Yeah.
I take that so serious when I know power is being shared with me. The mere fact that, and I'm using this as we talk about the responsibility of power, the mere fact that you're able to share your power with me means you trusted me.
Absolutely.
But not only trusted me, you trusted the people that I will be able to be responsible for.
Right.
But the whole intent of the responsibility of the power and the shared power is that you have a mission.
Right.
And it's my job to make that possible.
Yes.
And everybody else around us.
And so in order for the mission or the vision to come into fruition, to come into reality, the leader who has the vision, who has the power, has to release some of the shared power.
And that's responsibility.
So the vision can come.
Always. So
really that's an answer to somebody's question. Why is my vision not coming to pass?
You're not responsible with the power. if, for example, if I know I have a bolt of power, energy, and I know if I release it to this person and it's going to spark around everything else, that's what you will spend the majority of your time doing while managing it in responsibility. And at the end of the day, you get to see everything else.
Wow. Now, this has been great, Franco. This has been great.
Always a pleasure.
It's been great. And our time is well spent today.
Always a pleasure.
And I just want to, again, challenge anyone, if you are viewing this podcast on today and you need coaching or you need someone, you need help, you're stuck, you can't move forward, your vision is stuck, stagnated, you want to reach out to me and take advantage of this 60-minute free coaching session that I'm offering to you. It would revolutionize, it would change your life. And so you want to do that. And make sure you share the podcast. I know there's some leaders that you may know that can really take some value from what Franco and I talked about on today about the responsibility of power. And we pray that it's been a blessing to you and it has added value to your life. And so, Franco, it's been a pleasure. Y'all give it up for Pastor Franco Charles. Thank you for being a part of this podcast on today. And as always, guys, I look forward to seeing y'all on next week. And as always, it's time for you to live your amazing life. God bless you. I came from being a janitor to owning my own multi-million-dollar janitorial company. And I became a very successful entrepreneur, creating wealth for me and my family to live the amazing life. I want to show you how. Meet me here every week for the Living the Amazing Life podcast, where I will show you how I help others like yourself stop working in the business and working on the business. It's time for you to live your amazing life.